Dr. Leonard, I wanted to start with you if I could, and I wanted to just ask a question or two about prescription drug prices in the United States. Everybody I know, every Missourian that I know, heck, everybody from any state that I know is struggling to afford prescription drug prices in this country. It seems that they do nothing but go up and up and up. Drug prices in the United States are significantly higher than our closest peer nations. I think we've got a poster here that I'm going to put up, an analysis from the RAND Corporation back in 2024 comparing U.S. brand name drugs, prescription drugs, to those of other two countries. 32 countries were compared in the study. We've got here Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Mexico, and the United Kingdom. And it shows how much more the United States, our prescription drug prices, how much our prescription drugs cost on average than the prescription drugs in those countries. In Canada, our prescription drugs are 324% more than the Canadians, 445% more than what the French pay, 464% more than Japan, and on average in this 32-country index, 422% more. There's the cost of insulin. The average United States insulin manufacturer price per unit is $98.70. In Australia, it's $6.94. It's $12 in Canada. And in the UK, it's $7.52. Now, this just seems to me totally outrageous and totally unaffordable for every American. Somebody is getting rich off of this, and it's certainly not the American people. So Senator Welch and I have introduced a bill called the Fair Prescription Drug Prices for Americans Act that would stop Big Pharma from selling drugs in the United States at a higher price than the international average. And there would be stiff penalties for those who violate that rule. My question to you is, do you have a view on legislation like that, or what we're going to do about the cost of prescription drugs more broadly? I think that this is a crisis that the American people cannot afford to go on any longer, and it's time that we took action on it. I'm just curious, in your professional opinion, what your thoughts are on this.
Well, this is totally off the topic, other than prescription drugs are usually patented. I think it goes back to the basic problem in the United States. If you look at any of those other countries, they have national health care. I'll stop.
Anybody else want to comment on this?
Sure. Thank you. I don't disagree with what you put up at all. We care a lot at the Alliance for Aging Research about affordability, particularly for older adults. And I would love to meet with you and talk about the work that we've previously done on affordability and prescription drugs. Patents generally aren't the reason that prescription drugs cost so much. In fact, without them, a lot of treatments wouldn't exist. So we wouldn't really have anything to argue about if we didn't have the drugs themselves. Patents really encourage investment in new therapies and improvements in existing ones. So happy to talk to you about affordability issues.
But don't you think that we can find a way to protect our patent system, which I'm all for doing, provided that it's not gamed any further by the pharma companies to keep prices high? And let's be clear, the pharma companies are absolutely gaming the patent system in order to keep prices high. I mean, I think there's no doubt about that. You can't look at these numbers and not think that our pharma companies are not ripping off consumers in the United States of America.
Good night.
And maybe that may not be the square topic of this hearing, but I can tell you what, it's what the American people care most about.
Yep.
They care about this right here. They cannot afford their prescription drugs. And until this Congress does something to bring down the cost of prescription drugs, we're just whistling Dixie. I mean, the American people don't care about that. They care about what are you going to do to make health care cheaper in this country.
That's right.
And so far, this Congress has done precisely zero to make health care cheaper in the United States of America, and nothing to bring down the cost of prescription drugs. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Senator. I don't think you'll hear a lot of disagreement here about needing to reduce drug prices under the proper circumstances, but that should not come at the cost of innovation, because the cost of a drug that's not invented and brought to market after lots of research and development is basically infinite. And the cost on the American healthcare system and the taxpayer of having diseases go untreated is extraordinarily high. So that's point number one. Point number two, there are two sides of the chart that you're showing. The main problem is that there is tremendous free riding overseas on American innovation. And as a result of that, the cost of innovation is borne disproportionately by the American taxpayer. So instead of engaging in a race to the bottom and decimating the American innovation ecosystem, we should work hard to force our trading partners to bear their fair cost for that innovation.
Well, the race to the bottom, I mean, the American innovation system when it comes to prescription drugs is not going to do American patients much good if they can't afford their drugs.
The reality is that 9 out of 10 prescription drugs in the United States are filled with generic substitutes, far higher than the average in the OECD. In the end, I agree with you, but the way to do it is to force our trading partners to bear their fair cost, which will decrease the cost to the American taxpayer.
I wanted to say to the various companies who hold the patents on these various drugs and are selling them that you can set whatever price you want in the international market. It is a global market, but you cannot price gouge the American people.
Well, there are foreign governments that prevent that, and that's off the topic here, and I'm not an expert in that issue.
Well, why shouldn't we prevent it? I mean, this is my point. I mean, why are we allowing the American people to get the shaft here? Other governments are protecting their citizens from high drug prices, but we don't. And we're told constantly, well, that's the price of innovation. So you just have to suck it up, Americans, and pay the cost on, oh, you can't afford your drugs, you can't afford your insurance, you can't afford to go to the doctor anymore. But we've got a great healthcare system. It's all innovative. It doesn't do people much good if they can't actually get to the doctor. You're going to say something, Mr. Lee, and then the chairman, I think, has had about enough.
Yeah, I want to get back on